Purdue Boilermakers opened the 2024 season last Saturday with a convincing 49-0 win over Indiana State. The Boilermakers now have an extra week to prepare for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who will be making their first appearance in Ross-Ade Stadium since 2013. That game will kick off a week from Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, and it is already sold out. Good evening, everybody. Special edition tonight of Purdue Football Live. We're actually down outside the capital city. We're in Carmel at Wolfies. Great crowd on hand. You're about to hear them. Well done, well done. We will be back next week at our normal location at Walk-Ons, but since it's a bye week, we thought we'd take the show on the road this week. We've got the head coach with us. You can follow along tonight. We're on Purdue Athletics on the Facebook and X sites. You can ask questions. Let us know where you're coming from or where you're watching tonight. And we'll talk a lot about not only the game against the Sycamores, but the game coming up against the Irish and all things college football. So we'll be back with the head coach right after this. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that what you foresaw? He goes, probably didn't see it, but it's what worked out. Great cut.
Oh, big cut back. Reggie Love turns on the Jets. Touchdown, Elijah Jackson. Freshman.
Look at this cutback right here over pursuit, and there's nobody there in the cutback lane, and Jackson has the speed to take it the distance against this Sycamore D.
Looking to cash in on their 7th touchdown of the day. It's Merriweather on the left side, puts his head down, and has the Purdue touchdown.
Great little scheme here. They had all the offensive line go to the left. That was the key as we saw the Sycamores make the play. Jeffrey Brown with the sack.
3rd down and goal. Card with time to throw. He wants the end zone, and he's got Max Clare. It's an opening possession touchdown for the Boilers.
Yeah, he wants Max Clare on Maddox Blackwell.
And the top running game in the Big Ten all of last year, and Reggie Love going to be a pivotal part of that this year. Card on play action, zips it out into the flat. Jerron Tibbs high steps his way into the end zone.
Card's decisive here. Quick out by Tibbs, and able to get upfield immediately. He's very productive.
Loving for him here. Card looks to throw. Card with all day. Going end zone. And he's got a man wide open for the touchdown.
You'll see Branch just left alone in the corner of the end zone.
4th down and 1. It is Reggie Love straight forward, and he'll walk into the end zone.
Great work up front.
Football Live. We're usually live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. But again, a full house here tonight in Wolfies and Carmel, and thanks to everybody for coming out. The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults, and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Ryan, 49-0. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. 49-0 is 49-0. I thought it was a very solid performance for Game 1.
Yeah, I thought we saw what we needed to see and did what we needed to do. And a lot of teams didn't do that, across the country. So I was proud of our guys for preparing the right way throughout the course of the week, practicing the right way, and then ultimately playing assignment sound, clean, hard-nosed football.
You started the game the way I think every coach would like to. You kick the ball off, you get a 3 and out, and then you go down and score. And I thought that set the tone right away that, okay, we're here to play today.
Yeah, we've had an emphasis really going back to spring ball to how to start fast, and we've changed some things in practice and the way it's structured to sort of simulate that. And I thought that was like you said, it was the perfect way to start. You win the toss, you defer. Kick it off, you get 3 and out, you get the ball back, go down, score a touchdown. It was nice.
Hudson Card had a record-setting day. Purdue record 96% completion, 24 of 25, 273 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tells you how tough the Big Ten is. He did not get the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, that's pretty high bar. I thought his decision making was really solid, and we know he can throw the football, and he showed it again on Saturday.
Yeah, he's as accurate a guy as I've seen with my own 2 eyes, and that was just a display of that on Saturday. He's just so much more comfortable, so much more confident going into year 2 in the system. I thought the offensive line did a great job of protecting him, and then our wideouts wideouts, tight ends, running backs did a really good job of catching the football and making contested catches.
Not only that, I thought your outside guys did a great job in blocking, especially in the game. You get Jamal Edgerrin the ball a couple of times and a couple of great blocks downfield on that opening drive.
Yeah, that has also been another point of emphasis. There were a lot of hidden yardage that we didn't get a year ago because of poor blocking on the perimeter. And so that was also another emphasis on getting bigger body types. You saw out there most of those guys were 6'3" or taller, and they take pride in playing football the right way and being physical.
And you could see that physicality and that size show up, particularly on Leland Smith's touchdown. Ball, he basically goes up and grabs the ball over the defender's helmet. So you had a lot of athleticism at that wide out position. Yeah,
and Coach Patterson's done a great job of just instilling the right type of mindset and mentality with that group, and they're a competitive bunch. And what I was also happy to see is how much the ball got spread out. A lot of receivers caught the ball, a lot of different guys scored touchdowns, and were able to get some quality in-game experience.
Your first touchdown of the season went to Max Clare, and I think we were reminded on that first couple of drives, hey, this guy really could have helped us the second half of last season before he got hurt.
No question. Max is he's everything you want in a tight end. He's tall, he's big, he can run, he's got great ball skills. He'll mix it up in the run game, and he poses some mismatch nightmares for opposing defenses.
You mentioned the offensive line. I think the thing that was encouraging there, not only your starting 5 was pretty solid, but I thought you showed your depth, and you were able to get a lot of bodies on the field in game 1.
Yeah, and like I said, those guys, they work really well together. They communicate pre-snap. As good as anybody that I've been around, and they do a great job of IDing fronts and potential blitzes, and ultimately strained throughout the course of the down to keep our quarterbacks clean.
It's always helpful to have a fifth-year guy like Gus Hartwig in the middle who can really call the signals offensively and get those guys and make sure they're in the right position. Gus Hartwig is a really, I think, underrated football player in this conference, but we don't think he's underrated because we know how good he is.
I think he's the best center in the Big Ten. He's like an extension of the staff on the field. He's played so much ball, and he's already such a bright individual, regardless of football. And so, to have that sort of mind and that kind of work ethic and that kind of toughness and grit out on the field as your center is huge for us.
It was great to see Joey Tonona get back out on the football field after a devastating car crash that he thought had ended his football career. He gets out there, and I think, again, a guy that can really help you, not just this season, but into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about resiliency, and Joey embodies that. When he came in January, you could tell he hadn't played in a while, just, physically was underweight, but, has worked his tail off. Really tough kid. Like, he's everything you want in an offensive lineman from a mindset standpoint. He's going to play a lot of good football for us here in the future.
We would be remiss being in Carmel not to mention the fact that Ethan Trent, who is the younger brother of our great Tyler Trent, played one play on Saturday. It was a touchdown. Probably lobbying for more playing time now.
I know, right? That's a pretty good ratio right there. But another guy that just humble, obviously comes from a great family background, and is quiet and soft-spoken off the field, but you don't want to mess with him when you're on the field. He takes no crap from nobody. And so we're happy as heck that he's on our team and that he got a chance to get in the game.
All right, we're coming to you from Wolfies tonight in Carmel. More on the Purdue Football Live Show on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
The Ryan Walters defense run by Kevin Kane.
Rochelle in motion. The give is to Lawrence, who's taken down in the backfield. Rochelle in motion. They'll give it to him, and Rochelle with nowhere to go, trying to cut it back, and it's a loss of 5 on second down.
Was the man who actually got the contain. Watch Lewis right here fight off a block. Now doesn't make the tackle, but makes Rochelle bubble. Reed Love's there to clean it up, and now it's a 3rd and long. And took an angle where he didn't attack the near hip of the football, allowed the cutback for Butler Lawson.
Here's Butler Lawson again, and this time swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Ninth play of the Sycamore drive. Owens, as that pocket collapses, able to evade it. But he can't shake Jenkins. Trying his way back onto the field.
Well, we gave Kadron Jenkins a little bit of grief, but watch him attack the near hip and settle down.
Boilermaker blitz on 2nd down and 10. Owens keeps it, but is taken down in the backfield, so a loss of 1. Started 8 games last year. Was 4th on the team in tackles. Karlaftis. This time it's Sheen Butler Lawson, but similar result for Indiana State. In fact, a loss of 2 on 2nd down. Owens is 3 of 8 from the air, and pressure coming. He's lit up in the backfield.
He comes off the edge off your left side here and just destroys the tackle with an inside move using his hands. Owens never saw him. That's a good, clean football hit, right?
They've run the ball 27 times to just 8 passes. This is Sheen Butler Lawson getting the carry here to open up. 2nd down and 10. It's back to Butler Lawson, and he's headed backwards again.
Boilermakers and Fighting Irish a week from Saturday, 3:30 kickoff at Ross-Ade Stadium. Purdue with a bye this week, and that means the coaches will be out recruiting. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the show. Looking tonight on Facebook, again, we're on the Purdue Athletics site. We got Boiler Ups from Aaron and Claude. Anthony wants to know, he's looking in from Southport, were you able to see some growth and development in that game compared to what you saw in practice in the fall?
Yeah, I don't know if growth and development is the right term. If anything, I saw things that confirmed what we thought coming out of fall camp. One thing about this team is like they get after it in practice, and we play ball probably more than most teams do during the course of practice. Obviously, you got to do individual, you got to do 7-on-7, you got to do all these things, but to me, in order to get better at football, you got to play football. So we do a lot of 11-on-11 together, more so than anywhere else I've been. And as a result of that, you get to see guys put in situations where they got to compete and they got to win their one-on-one matchups in order to have success. And so I thought, that was a great evaluator during the course of fall camp. And then we just saw guys that were making plays in fall make plays on Saturdays. And so that was a good thing to see is that the situation and the live action and being in front of a packed crowd didn't change the way they operated, didn't change the way they played. And that was one of the things that we harped on throughout the course of the week is just do your job. Right. And if you do your job, then plays that you're supposed to make, you'll make them because you'll be in good positions to do so.
We got a couple of Boiler Ups from Boonville and Mishawaka, kind of tying onto that question. I'm going to segue into the next question. How about that? Does a win like you had against Indiana State, does that help settle nerves, I think, going into a big game that you got coming up against Notre Dame?
I definitely think so. If you look at it, you're playing against an opponent, right, that by all means, like we'll call a spade, like we're supposed to beat them. Right. And so the things that you want to see are you want to see clean football, you want to see good execution, you want to see good communication. I was concerned about tackling. Mm-hmm. We didn't go live a whole lot in fall camp just because of the nature of your roster. You don't want to get injuries. But I thought we tackled well. I thought we blocked well, like you said, on the perimeter.
Right.
And then we threw and caught. It's about as good as anybody's ever done, right?
Right.
And so, definitely there are definite positives, and still things that you got to clean up. Like it is football, and no play is going to be perfect. But was pleased with what we saw and how we executed.
Boiler Ups here from Bob in Speedway and Jeff in Cape Coral. I was going to ask this question, but Nathan did it for me. You had the first game with the player communication devices in the helmet. How did that work, and how did that change things for you on the sidelines?
Yeah, actually didn't change a whole lot. I think the difference between college and the NFL, the NFL they huddle all the time, and so that player to coach communication in the helmet is essential. Where in college, like, you still get spread offenses and they're up tempo and they're lining up, so you still have to be able to communicate to all 11, because you can't just communicate to one guy that's going to communicate to the rest of the guys on the field. Now there are benefits to being able to speak to, like, for my instance, like, I'm talking to KJ on the field, right, and you can give him little clues like, hey, X is off here, the field left, watch this, or tell the D-line to it's third down, watch the snap count. And so just little tidbits of information before the ball is snapped without overloading them and paralyzing them is something that we'll continue to massage and use to the best of our abilities and improve on. I know Graham really liked being able to communicate with HUD. I say communicate, having one-way communications with HUD.
And I think that's worth pointing out. They can't talk back to you. This is all a one-way conversation.
Yeah, and so there were some technical difficulties at times. Like, there were a couple of plays where I'm trying to talk to KJ and he's looking at me like, Coach, I don't know what to or Hudson couldn't hear in the headset. And so those are little kinks that we'll work out, and I'm glad we had a game to do that.
You got a big crowd, so crowd noise is a factor again.
Yeah.
Again, the crowd showed out at Ross-Ade like we knew they would.
It's unbelievable. I said this post game, but the reality is, we went 4-8 last year, and we were playing against an FCS opponent that struggled a year ago. And I don't know under those circumstances if there was any other program in the country that would have had a crowd like we had. And so it just goes to show, why we have all, I'm talking, say we all, like all the new staff, the new players, like why we love Purdue is because you feel genuinely supported, and it is a tight-knit family and a fan base that gets it, and it takes everybody to have a winning program. And that everybody is this community of West Lafayette and the entire Purdue Nation. And the entire Purdue Nation, including Carmel, which again showed out tonight at Wolfies, so we appreciate that. All right, we'll have more with the head coach in 2 minutes. It's Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Eva Hudson able to keep balls in play even when they're not there. See if the Boilermakers can capitalize here. Carter again. Kept alive. Myers gets it over. Set up again for Williams. Stuffed by Eva Hudson. The Boilermakers lead by 1. Boilers down 2. Carter and Colvin again. Carter decides to tap it to Chacoin. Carter keeps it alive. Down the line. Blocked. Hudson dives, keeps it alive. McAleer. Chacoin taps it over. Joust at the net, won by Chacoin. K-State plays it. Raven Colvin, back-to-back blocks for the senior from Indianapolis, and the Boilermakers down 1, her 6th block of the matchup.
What a point by Hudson, McAleer, Chacoin, Colvin, everybody contributing. Incidentally, she's got 13 digs.
Hudson, have some.
It's Dunaway with the delivery, header, it's bouncing around in the box, and a fantastic backheel goal to open the scoring just a minute and 30 seconds in. Give it to her center half, Raimondi, but it's a spill at the back, and Dunaway makes her pay. And that is a howler from Rita. Arella standing over it, the Argentine national, has a great left foot. Has a strike. Oh, fantastic goal! A free kick goal for Purdue. And you just couldn't write an opening better than this. It's 3-0. Space ahead of her. Tries to feed Singarella through. Very creative ball. Singarella, it's a hat trick. Being aggressive, and now on the right side. Slots it in. Umholt. And she scores. Well, they're all going to score at this rate.
We're live tonight at Wolfies in Carmel. Next week we'll be back at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. Want to give a shout out here, Ira watching from Swamico, Wisconsin, John from Murrieta, California, and Matt from Syracuse. Question from Emily. Who came up with the victory spike celebration idea? What is that, and how did that all get started?
Yeah, so one of the things after like sort of evaluating the program in its entirety after last season and ways to improve, I was trying to find ways to have more team chemistry, more camaraderie. I think the thing that is sort of missed in college football now because of the transfer portal, because of NIL, is everybody's trying to make it like it's the NFL, right? But it's not. You're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. Like, even though they look like grown men, they're still kids. You know what I mean? And so they still need sort of that tradition, that chemistry, like I said, in order to win tight games. And so the point of emphasis was getting as many of the newcomers in January as we could, so that we could have a full off season with them. Provide different venues and different opportunities to form organic relationships. And then for me, it was like, okay, what kind of traditions can we come up with? And so the first one was like, everybody has got to know the fight song. Like, you got to know it, you got to take pride in it. So in spring ball, every team meeting, we had a position group come up and sing the fight song. And it became a competition, like who did it the best, who sang it the loudest. And so like at the end of the spring game, I brought him in the locker room. I said, hey, when we win, like, we're going to sing the fight song, and we added our own little flair to it. So I'm sure you guys have seen the video, like at the end of the fight song, we ended with BTF and everybody says you, right? And so I was trying to think of another thing to tie it in, and talking to Pete Rowley, our DFO, I'm like, obviously Purdue is known for like the hammer and hammer down and boiler up and all this, and I'm like, it'd be cool if we could have like a hammer at every game, and when we win, like whoever gets that game ball, could hit something. So he was like, well, shoot, let's just get a railroad tie and a spike, and we'll make grooves, and when we win, you hit the spike, and whoever wins that game ball, you get a plaque on the railroad tie. So the first one was in fall camp. Had the team vote for like who was the MVP of fall camp, and Mo Amadade won that title. So after the mock game, he hit the spike. So he's got fall camp,
right,
and then Mo Amadade sort of stamped on there. And then obviously like the day that Hudson Card had, he won the game ball, so he got the spike on the Indiana State game. So it's just a cool tradition that I'm sure those guys will remember for a long time. And now I got to figure out what to do with the railroad tie at the end of the season.
Those are details that will work themselves out. Greg, watching from South Bend, I asked you during the commercial break if you went home and watched football on Saturday night, and John actually said, when you watch something like, let's say Notre Dame, Texas A&M, what do you gain from that, watching as a fan, but watching it in real time without game film?
Yeah, one, I can't watch games like a fan anymore. Like that ship has sailed a long time ago. But when you watch it live, like you get a feel for how they operate during momentum swings. Y'all look for repeated plays. If you see a play that's worked one time, like how quickly do they come back to it? You get a feel for tempo and how fast they're moving offensively or defensively. You get a look at how they communicate, both from the sideline to the field and then with each other while they're on the field. There's a lot of things that you can see almost better on the live and on the TV copy than you can, with the Cowboy Clicker and on Exos.
Right. All right, coming to you from beautiful Wolfies in Carmel, Indiana. We'll have more with Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Like the leader of this offense then.
Play action on first down. They'll swing it out to Jamal Edrin, who is the junior FA. Surprised Graham Harrell just a little bit, but another quick trigger, another look at Jamal Edrin, and he cuts up and he's got 2 first downs.
Healthy, and of course, Garrett Olendijk, a good middle linebacker for the Sycamores. He'll be all over the field today.
Card hits his tight end.
Offense, high praise.
Reggie Love in the game for his first possession. They'll flip it out into the flat. This is Drew Bibber.
The key, as we saw the Sycamores make the play, Jeffrey Brown with the sack.
3rd down and goal. Card with time to throw. He wants the end zone, and he's got Max Clare. Hudson Card was 5 for 5 on that opening possession. He looks to throw, and he's got his tight end.
Not stymied behind the line of scrimmage.
Card on play action, flips it out into the flat, and Tibbs has the first down. Now the shotgun on second down and 10. Card stepping up in the pocket, showing off the wheels, and connects upfield. It's Denylon Morissette with the conference. He's from Bloomington. Three-step drop and a fire and a connection. That's
Shamar Rigby, and they were correct.
Purdue moving quickly here as Card steps up in the pocket and unleashes wide open. It's Max Clare again, his favorite target of the afternoon. Reggie Love going to be a pivotal part of that this year. Card on play action, zips it out into the flat. Jerron Tibbs high steps his way into the end zone.
He's very productive.
Love in for him here. Card looks to throw. Card with all day, going end zone, and he's got a man wide open for the touchdown.
You'll see Branch just left alone in the corner of the end zone. Iowa plays great for the Sycamore D.
Quick trigger out to Shamar Rigby. They haven't hesitated to run here. This time through the air as Card surveys his options. Has time to throw. Gonna use his legs, and Card dives for the first down.
This actually might be the screen and draw down to get him back into it.
It's 2nd and 27 as Card delivers over the middle. And he's got Card to the air on 3rd down and 7. He's got time to throw, but wants to use his legs. Card with the shiftiness. He's got the first down. On 3rd down for Hudson Card, and it keeps the chains moving here for the Boilermakers. Now on play action, Card unleashes. He's got Edrin again inside the 20.
Love was well past him.
Love was beyond him. 2nd down and 7. A clean pocket for Hudson Card, who's got all day to throw and delivers over the middle. First down and 10. He'll go up top, and he's got a man out there. Leaping grab made. It's Leland Smith again.
And Leland Smith goes up and gets it one-on-one on the fade route.
It's time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at IndianaKitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler made. The NFL season starts tonight in about a little less than 2 hours. It's the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. Sanusi Kane has made the Ravens roster as a 7th-round draft pick. We talked about that last week. George Karlaftis is looking to get a 3rd Super Bowl ring in his 3rd season. His first 2 years have been pretty good. 16.5 sacks, including 10.5 last year. He's forced a fumble and picked up 2 fumble recoveries, and he's defended 10 passes. George Karlaftis is a great story, a kid that grew up in Greece. When his dad died prematurely, his mom moved the family back, and thankfully back to her home in West Lafayette. And, boy, getting that guy away from the big boys really helped Purdue football a lot.
Yeah, you know, obviously I wasn't here when he played here, but we did play against him. And you talk about, you know, somebody that played football the right way. You know, he is definitely that.
You got another guy at the defensive end spot we talked a little bit about last week. Will Helt had 3 tackles for loss and a couple of sacks, and I'm sure that Indiana State quarterback is still feeling the hit from the second half when he came in unblocked. He is a load at 6'6", 265.
He is, and, you know, great human being. Like, he does everything the right way. Comes from a really good family, and you can tell they instilled the right type of values in him. He's consistent. You know what you're going to get from Will every day, and you're going to get his best. And sky's the limit for him. I'm just happy to be part of his journey throughout his career.
A name that we called a lot on Saturday, I thought he was all over the field when he was in there, was DeMarje Lewis, a guy that missed last year with an injury, and I thought he had a really good opener.
He did, and he's another guy that has been really resilient and has just put his head down and gone to work. He's been through a lot to get to this point, a lot of hard work. You know, I always stop down in the training room just to see how guys are doing when they're going through the rehab process. You know, being a guy that dealt with some injuries in my college career, I understand like what it can do to you from a mental aspect, and how difficult it is to not be able to do the things that you love. And so, you know, to be down there and see him put the amount of time that was required to get to this point, and then ultimately get here and have the success he had. It's definitely a gratifying moment as a coach.
I think, Ryan, it was pretty easy to see why Dylan Thieneman has been put back in that punt returner position. He's a guy that really is dynamic with the ball in his hands.
He is. I told him, you take too many shots, though, I'm going to have to take you off of there. Because he's an All-American safety at first, but he's our best punt returner. He's electric, obviously, with the ball in his hands, and he can run with the best of them. He's also one of our most reliable guys back there, just in the decision making and making sure that he secures the football. Great player, man. There's a reason why he's an All-American.
Speaking of electric and running with the football, how about Elijah Jackson?
Yeah.
When he got through the line of scrimmage on that 69-yard touchdown run, nobody was catching him from behind.
There's no question. As soon as he broke the line of scrimmage, I was like, he's gone. And sure enough, he was. I don't know if there's too many people out there who can catch him when he's in the open field.
It was really gratifying to see on both sides of the ball how many guys you got on the field, which I think is so important, not just from a health standpoint, but just from a morale standpoint in practice.
Yeah, we got a lot of capable guys. Depth is one of the things that we tried to develop and recruit to during the off season. And so what we wanted to see was just that there be no drop off in play when we started subbing guys in and out. And obviously there's a few mistakes here and there, some jitters here and there, but for the most part, those guys did what they were supposed to do.
All right, we're coming to you from Wolfies and Carmel. We'll have more after this. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Eva Hudson able to keep balls in play even when they're not there. See if the Boilermakers can capitalize here. Carter again, kept alive. Myers gets it over. Set up again for Williams. Stuffed by Eva Hudson. The Boilermakers lead by 1. Boilers down 2. Carter and Colvin again. Carter decides to tap it to Chacoin. Carter keeps it alive. Down the line. Blocked. Hudson dives, keeps it alive. McAleer. Chacoin taps it over. Joust at the net, won by Chacoin. K-State plays it. Raven Colvin. Back-to-back blocks for the senior from Indianapolis, and the Boilermakers down 1, her 6th block of the matchup.
What a point by Hudson, McAleer, Chacoin, Colvin, everybody contributing. Incidentally, she's got 13 digs.
Hudson, have some.
Dunaway with the delivery. Header. Bouncing around in the box. And a fantastic backheel goal to open the scoring just a minute and 30 seconds in. Give it to her center half, Raimondi, but it's a spill at the back, and Dunaway makes her pay. And that is a howler from just. Arella standing over it. The Argentine national has a great left foot. Has a strike. A free kick goal for Purdue. And you just couldn't write an opening better than this. It's 3-0. Space ahead of her. Tries to feed Singarella through. Very creative ball. Singarella. It's a hat trick. Being aggressive, and now on the right side. Slots it in. Umholt. And she scores. Well, they're all going to score at this rate. It's 6-1.
Football Live, normally coming to you from Walk-On, the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat for free on Tuesdays. Coming to you tonight from Wolfies in Carmel. Purdue Athletic Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Molson Coors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, State Farm Insurance, Toyota, and Wabash. Each are great partners. And no game this weekend. Purdue and Notre Dame a week from Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. We've talked a little bit early on. You weren't in favor of having a bye so early, and now that you think with the injuries that you had, you are. Now that you're in the bye week, what do you think about the bye week?
Yeah, I got the bye week blues, man.
We got to cheer you up a little bit.
Yeah, gear up to go play, and you play the way you want to play, and then now you got to wait again. But definitely, we did need it. Coming out of, like I said, those guys, they practiced their tails off, and as a result, we had a couple guys get dinged up during fall camp, and 3 of those guys will be back for this game. Still waiting to see on 2 others, but we needed it to get healthy.
All right, let's check in on Facebook here. We got Kyle in Warsaw, Corey in Lafayette, Midori from North Carolina. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Tracy is in Fort Wayne. Mark, and I'm going to try this. Minnesota, something like
one
that.
Of those thousands lakes.
Yes, yes, a big lake in Minnesota somewhere, and the temperature this weekend is supposed to be about 67 on Saturday. The temperature a week from Saturday is supposed to be 88 or 88. So how will you get this team ready for what's going to be a steamer against the Irish?
Yeah, just hydration obviously will be key. Hopefully have some cool line. But it's football in the fall. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to get out there and play and great. They're playing a lot hotter weather, so can't use it as an excuse. Got to use it to our advantage.
You mentioned it's an opportunity this week to get some healing, but it's an opportunity also for the coaches to get out on the road. How will you spread out? You've got some committed players. You've got some players that are still either undecided or maybe thinking somewhere else. How do you use this opportunity early in the season to go out and see some guys?
Yeah, since we have 2 bye weeks, we got to be strategic about when we're going out and where we're going, because you only get about 30 some odd days of recruiting. And so, we got a couple guys that will hit the road tomorrow and see some in-state games to check on guys that we have currently committed. I'm going out of state to check on a guy that's committed elsewhere that I'm not giving up on.
There you go.
And so, we're just strategic about who and when and where we're headed.
The Big Ten, I think, showed its teeth in week number 1. Only one loss. The Big Ten went 17-1 the first week, and the only loss was Minnesota on a missed field goal at the end. It is still bizarre to watch a game on a Sunday night with USC and LSU and realize you're watching one of your conference foes play for the Trojans. It's still hard to get your arms around that, isn't it?
For me, not really. I mean, I've only been in the Big Ten. This is year 4 now, right? It is different to think about the travel. We play Oregon State this year. So it's just preparing us for next year. So like that time difference is real. You know what I mean? We're on the East Coast here. They're on the West Coast. That's 3 hours difference. So depending on what time you play, that could be a nightmare. And so what we're doing is typically you travel to away games on Fridays.
Right.
You wake up, you have your walkthrough, you get on the plane and go to the hotel. But this year we're going to practice Thursday and then get on the plane and go, and so that we get at least get acclimated to the time change a little bit and get used to our surroundings.
I know you're still fairly new to the Big Ten, but I know a lot of us in the room remember when there actually were only 10 teams in the Big Ten. That's kind of how you know where you are. And thankfully, but again, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of TV exposure, and the media rights money. That's what drives all of this.
The money is a heck of a motivator, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, we're coming to you from Wolfies in Carmel. We'll have more with the head coach after this. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
It's the Ryan Walters defense run by Kevin Kane.
Rochelle in motion. The give is to Lawrence, who's taken down in the backfield. Rochelle in motion. They'll give it to him. And Rochelle with nowhere to go, trying to cut it back. And it's a loss of 5 on 2nd down.
Was the man who actually got the contain. Watch Lewis right here fight off a block. Now doesn't make the tackle, but makes Rochelle bubble. Breedlove's there to clean it up, and now it's a 3rd and long. And took an angle where he didn't attack the near hit of the football, allowed the cutback for Butler Lawson.
Here's Butler Lawson again, and this time swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Ninth play of the Sycamore drive. Owens, as that pocket collapses, able to evade it. But he can't shake Jenkins. Trotting his way back onto the field.
We gave Kadron Jenkins a little bit of grief, but watch him attack the near hip and settle down.
Boilermaker blitz on 2nd down and 10. Owens keeps it, but is taken down in the backfield, so a loss of 1. Started 8 games last year. Was 4th on the team in tackles. Karlaftis This time it's Sheen Butler-Lawson, but similar result for Indiana State. In fact, a loss of 2 on second down. Wins is 3 of 8 from the air, and pressure coming. He's lit up in the backfield.
He comes off the edge off your left side here and just destroys the tackle with an inside move using his hands. Owens never saw him. That's a good, clean football hit, right?
They've run the ball 27 times to just 8 passes. This is Sheen Butler-Lawson getting the carry here to open up. Second down and 10. It's back to Butler-Lawson, and he's headed backwards again.
Rochelle then comes down.
The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Again, no game this weekend. Boilermakers against the Fighting Irish. Somebody asked online, is the game still a trophy game? Yes, it is. There's a Shillelagh Trophy,
right?
Which right now is in the possession of the Irish and needs to come back to its rightful home. You know, the one thing about, you wonder sometimes with so many new players and so many portal guys, do rivalries get lost in this, or does the luster of a big rivalry game get diminished when people are coming in from the outside?
You know, that's what I'm fighting against, right? Again, when we brought everybody in, I tried my best to give them the history and the tradition of first Purdue and you know what the demographic makeup is of West Lafayette, like who are the people in the stands rooting for you, and then why some of the rivalry games are important. And so we've done certain things to make sure that they don't like those traditional rivalry opponents.
Just haven't talked to some of the people out in the audience.
I know,
think
right?
We can spread the ill will here.
And you know, if the saying is true that your team takes on the personality of your head coach, they know good and well who I do and don't like. So,
understood. Well, again, it's a big game. It's the first time the Irish have been in Ross-Ade since 2013. We'll talk more about Notre Dame next week. Lance is watching tonight from Newburgh. We have Jonathan down in Plano, Texas. And I think, well, all right, so let's go with a question about the schedule, considering how difficult the Big Ten is now. And there's been a lot of discussion. You've talked to Mike Bobinski about it. What do you do with your non-conference schedule? Because you want to have a schedule that fans want to see, but you also want to have a schedule that's good for your football team. What's your theory there?
My theory is nobody cares how the wins came at the end of the season. They just want to make sure you got the wins. Because of the 12-team playoff, like, strength of schedule is non-existent anymore. You know, we play 9 conference games. If you look at, you know, our counterparts like in the SEC, they've got 8 conference games. They usually play maybe one Power 4 opponent, and then 3 group of 5s. You know, with an FCS or an HBCU included in there. And to me, like, that makes the most sense. You want to give yourself the opportunity, the best opportunity you can to have as many wins in the win column at the end of the season. So yeah, like I'll just leave that at that.
Yeah, understood. Patrick has a question about uniforms. By the way, the new uniforms debuted. We'll talk about how those came around, but he wants to know if the gold, he says mirror helmets. I think it's the kind of the metallic gold.
No chrome.
No chrome.
No chrome domes.
How did you come up? Because the uniforms, you know, to some people it doesn't matter, but to a lot of people and a lot of players, those uniforms are a big deal.
Yeah. You know, so one of the things that I wanted to do with these uniforms was to have, you know, when I think about the Big Ten, you think about history, tradition, and when you turn on the TV, you know exactly who you're watching. You know what I mean? And Purdue is a proud place that has been in the Big Ten for a long time and has had a lot of really great players come through here. So I wanted to do something that sort of paid homage to past regimes, past teams, but also had like a modern twist to it, right? And so, you know, that's why I wanted to make sure that Purdue was across the chest. I wanted to bring back the stripes on the side of the shoulder pads. Definitely wanted the P on the helmet and the stripe, you know, on the middle of the helmet, and do we have some wrinkles here and there? Yeah, we do. You know, there's some things that haven't been broadcasted yet. But I do think when you turn on the TV and you see us, you'll know exactly who's playing. So just wanted to brand it that way.
When you started to get into coaching, did you ever think you're going to spend a lot of time talking about uniforms and designs and stripes and helmet decals?
Well, I've always wanted to be a head coach, so that was definitely one of the things I was preparing for.
Well, and that's another thing, too. You've talked about the fact that your first year last year as a head coach, there are a lot of things that maybe you didn't know about or didn't understand the time commitment. How has that changed for you in year 2?
Yeah, I mean, you learn, right? Like, you know, it's no secret. Like, last year was my first rodeo. You know what I mean? That was my first year as a head coach. And as much as you prepare for and you ask questions about, like, nobody gives you a handbook that says, like, here's how to be a head coach, right? And so I think the things that I learned the most were like how to best utilize my time to be head coach and still have my fingerprint on what we're doing from an X's and O's standpoint. Like how can I best help like on the playing field? And so I feel like we've got a good, you know, chemistry, good marriage in that sense. I didn't know I was going to be I didn't know my main job was going to be
Fundraising, yeah.
I found out quickly though that I'm actually pretty good at it, so that was good.
He will be going around later, by the way. So y'all keep your hands
that was a meeting earlier. I
wallets.
already had that meeting earlier today, so you don't have no. I won't be having my hand out after this one. I promise.
All right, we'll have the final segment of Purdue Football Live coming up next. We're at the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Key, as we saw the Sycamores make the play, Jeffrey Brown with the sack.
3rd down and goal. Card with time to throw. He wants the end zone, and he's got Max Clare. It's an opening possession touchdown for the Boilers.
Yeah, he wants Max Clare on Maddox Blackwell.
Had the top running game in the Big Ten all of last year, and Reggie Love going to be a pivotal part of that this year. Card on play action, zips it out into the flat. Jerron Tibbs high steps his way into the end zone.
Card's decisive here. Quick out by Tibbs, and able to get upfield immediately. He's very productive.
Loving for him here. Card looks to throw. Card with all day. Going end zone, and he's got a man wide open for the touchdown.
You'll see Branch just left alone in the corner of the end zone.
4th down and 1. It is Reggie Love straight forward, and he'll walk into the end zone.
Great work up front. You can see him put a foot in the ground and get north and south. It looked like
1st down and 10. He'll go up top, and he's got a man out there. Leaping grab made. It's Leland Smith again.
And Leland Smith goes up and gets it one-on-one on the fade route, tying outside, going against Keenan Hicks from Indiana State. Is that what you foresaw? He goes, probably didn't see it, but it's what worked out. Great cut.
Oh, big cut back. Reggie Love turns on the Jets. Touchdown, Elijah Jackson. Freshman.
Look at this cutback right here over pursuit, and there's nobody there in the cutback lane, and Jackson has the speed to take it.
Purdue Football Live. We're with the head coach Ryan Walters at Wolfies in Carmel. We talked a little bit about special teams, talked about the punt returns. Keelan Crimmins, I thought, had a solid game for you.
Yeah.
Leland Smith, you look at the versatility and the size and the athleticism you've got. When you can put a guy like that and get him in a block punt, that's going to help you down the road for sure.
Yeah, for sure. He's long and explosive.
What did you like about the special teams in general in terms of coverage and in terms of your kick returns?
I like how they executed the plan. We had the one kickoff return get out and increased us a little bit, but it was a result of bad eyes, And so, I think Coach Petrelli does a great job, not only from a schematic standpoint, but just in getting his guys to play hard and take pride in special teams. So I think it's going to be an asset for us this season. I was just proud of how clean and we call it, organized chaos, and that's what it looked like on game day.
We got Boiler Ups from Crawfordsville and Punta Gorda, Florida. So again, thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight on Facebook. A lot of times college football, Ryan, imitates the NFL, and they've got this wacky new kickoff rule. I still haven't figured it out. Have you seen it? And
I have seen it.
What do you think about it?
I'm
just saying, you could see that next year because you know how this works.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about, again, we're going to hit Notre Dame next week, so I think we'll wait on the Irish. But are you happy right now with where your football team is here and bye week after week one?
I am. I say that because, one, like, we expected that type of outcome, but it doesn't just happen. You got to go do it. And they did. Yeah. And I think I'm even more happy with the way they handled it post-game and with the way they've handled it this week. It would have been real easy to, 49-0, got a bye week. Let's not take this week serious. Let's take this week off. And they haven't taken it off. Guys are still – the focus is on improving every week and ultimately winning. And so, that's what has been refreshing this season is I can genuinely say, like, they expect to win. Yeah. Like, and it's whether it's a rep in practice, whether it's a rep in the weight room or out on the field on game day, like, the expectation is to win. And so when you got that, you got a chance.
By the way, it hit me now about 14 segments later. The word I was looking for earlier was piggyback, not ponytail or no.
Pigtail, ponytail.
I was going to think about it on the way home. Piggyback. So in case I get some email a little bit later on. Kadron Jenkins, new position. How did you feel like he did in his first time out?
I thought he did a great job. It is definitely new, and you could tell early on there were some jitters there. But he made a ton of plays and made us right a couple times when guys misfit. And that's just him being who he is, being a football-savvy individual that is highly intelligent and a great athlete. I thought the play he made when the quarterback, scrambled out and he chased him down the line of scrimmage and the guy tried to cut back and he's like, no, I'm right here. You know what I mean? So he's only going to continue to get better and he's definitely going to be a leader for us this year.
Well, Ryan, travel well this week. Get on the road and watch some of those future Boilermakers, and we look forward to getting ready for Notre Dame next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks again to our engineer tonight, Wes Scott, our producer, Dylan Riggs, Corey Palm with us on video. Again, the Boilermakers off this weekend, no game, so we'll be on the air next Saturday at 2:30 for the pregame show. 3:30 will be the kickoff as Purdue takes on Notre Dame in a sold-out Ross-Ade Stadium. Want to thank the folks here tonight at Wolfies for having us. We'll be back at our normal spot at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union next Thursday night at 6:05. For the head coach, Ryan Walters, I'm Tim Newton. We'll talk to you next week on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.